There's a war inside you no one can see. One side wants growth, the other clings to comfort. One wants discipline, the other feeds distraction. And only one of them gets to survive. You are your greatest enemy, not your job, not your parents, not your past, not the economy, not the people who betrayed you. The real war is the one you fight every day with yourself. Between the version of you that settles, that makes excuses, that runs from discomfort, and the version of you that knows you were made for more. You wake up every morning with two voices in your head. One whispers, stay comfortable. Hit snooze. You've got time. The other shouts, get up. You're falling behind. There's a mission to complete. And in those first few moments, a choice is made. Not just about the day, but about who wins that battle inside you. This battle isn't loud. It's not on display. It happens quietly. In your habits, in your decisions, in your discipline. The enemy is that inner voice that says, you can't. It's too hard. Or do it tomorrow. It's the fear that stops you from speaking up. The doubt that holds you back from trying. The insecurity that makes you shrink in rooms you were born to dominate. And the scariest part, that enemy sounds like you. It knows your weaknesses. It knows your patterns. It knows just how to talk you out of your greatness. You were born with potential, but potential means nothing without action. Every time you avoid the hard thing, every time you choose comfort over growth, you feed the weaker version of yourself. You train your mind to surrender. You condition your soul to settle. But every time you choose discipline over distraction, focus over noise, consistency over excuses, you sharpen your edge. You take back your power. Most people lose the battle before they even begin. They talk themselves out of change before the world ever gets a chance to see what they're capable of. They live in cycles, starting strong, giving up quick, and blaming everything but themselves. But if you want to evolve, you have to break that loop. You have to stop waiting for the right moment, the perfect conditions, the external motivation. You have to become the person who shows up, tired, scared, unmotivated, and still executes. The path to your future isn't found in comfort. It's carved through pain, through repetition, through unrelenting effort. No one's coming to save you. No one's coming to drag you out of mediocrity. It's you vs you. And only one of you makes it to the next level. The version of you that wants to grow. He's hungry. He's willing to suffer, to sweat, to sacrifice. But he's trapped beneath the weight of your excuses, your laziness, your fear. You have to kill the part of you that keeps choosing average. You have to bury the doubts, silence the distractions, and rise with purpose. Because no one remembers the version of you that almost did it. They remember the one that showed up and made it happen. So the next time you feel like quitting, remind yourself, you're not fighting the world. You're fighting the parts of yourself that were never meant to survive. You're fighting to become who you were born to be, and that battle is yours to win or lose. You are your greatest enemy, but you are also your only hope. Decide which one of you gets to live. Comfort feels good in the moment. It wraps you in a false sense of security, whispering that you're okay right where you are. It tells you there's no rush, no need to push harder, no reason to suffer. But comfort is the silent assassin of dreams. It doesn't strike suddenly. It creeps in slowly, quietly, wrapping itself around your ambition like a snake. You don't even notice it's choking you until years have passed, and you realize you haven't moved. The version of you that chooses comfort over growth is the same version holding your future hostage. Every time you choose the easy way out, you surrender a piece of your potential. Every time you skip the gym, delay the work, or silence your inner drive, you feed the side of you that fears change. And the more you feed that side, the stronger it gets, until it becomes your default mode of living. Comfort convinces you that rest is the reward, not the effort. It teaches you to celebrate without sacrifice, to expect results without repetition. But there's no glory without grind, no breakthrough without resistance. What you don't struggle for, you'll never truly value. And what you avoid now will come back stronger later, whether it's failure, regret, or the pain of being stuck in a life you didn't fight for. You weren't born to just exist. You weren't created to coast. Deep down, you know this. There's a voice in you that wants more strength, more discipline, more impact. But that voice gets drowned out by comfort's lies. It tells you success is for others. It tells you you're too late, too tired, too unprepared. It's not telling you the truth. It's trying to keep you small. Comfort is a cage, and the door is wide open. But walking out means confronting fear. It means risking failure. It means waking up early when you're tired, speaking up when you're afraid, and showing up when no one's clapping. That's not glamorous, but that's the path to greatness. That's where character is built and champions are born. Comfort doesn't want you to grow. Growth is uncomfortable by nature. It stretches you, humbles you, breaks you down just to build you back stronger. And that's why so few people ever change, because change requires sacrifice and comfort hates sacrifice. But let me tell you this, The pain of growth is temporary. The pain of regret lasts forever. Comfort might feel good today, but it'll rob you of everything tomorrow. The more you choose it, the less life you'll live. Until one day, you look back and realize you've been alive for decades, but you've barely lived at all. Stop chasing comfort. Chase challenge. Chase discomfort. Chase the things that scare you, because that's where the magic happens. Every time you push through what's hard, you unlock a new level of yourself. You discover a strength you didn't know you had. You build discipline, confidence, and courage. You stop existing and start evolving. You have to choose discomfort now, so you can live in freedom later. Pay the price today so you can walk in power tomorrow. The version of you that embraces the grind, that endures the pain, that sacrifices short-term ease for long-term greatness, that version of you is unstoppable. But that version can't breathe if you keep feeding the weaker one. Comfort is the killer, not because it's loud, but because it's quiet. It kills slowly, silently, one decision at a time. So if you want to rise, if you want to transform, you have to kill comfort before it kills your calling. Wake up, move, break the cycle. The life you want is on the other side of pain. The future you're chasing is waiting for the uncomfortable version of you to show up. So stop choosing what feels good. Choose what makes you great. There comes a time when your feelings must take a back seat to your commitments. Mastery is never born out of convenience or fleeting motivation. It's forged in the fires of consistency, doing what you said you would do long after the mood has left you. If you wait to feel inspired every time before you act, you'll live a life of hesitation, delay, and mediocrity. Emotion is unstable. It changes with the weather, with the mood, with circumstances. But discipline, that's your anchor. Discipline doesn't ask how you feel. It demands action. It shows up in silence, in sweat, in sacrifice. It's not loud or dramatic. It's the quiet repetition, the daily grind, the unwavering commitment to the goal, no matter what storms rage inside you. That's where real power is. When you get up tired, when you push through discomfort, when you work without applause and still deliver, that's discipline, that's control, that's transformation. Emotion might inspire you to start, but only discipline can finish what you began. Discipline makes you the kind of person who doesn't need to be in the mood to do the work. You don't wait for the right time, because you know the right time is now. You don't need motivation because you've already made the decision. You've trained your mind to follow through, not follow feelings. Every successful person you admire has mastered this truth. They didn't get where they are by simply feeling like it. They got there by overriding how they felt when it was inconvenient, painful, boring, or difficult. They learned to lead themselves with action, not emotion. Because emotion will trick you. It will tell you to rest when you need to push, to stop when you should go, to settle when you were built to rise. When you start making decisions based on what needs to be done rather than how you feel, everything in your life will begin to shift. You'll earn back your power. You'll take control of your mornings, your habits, your mindset. You'll stop being a slave to your mood and become a master of your mission. That's when things change, not just for a week, but for a lifetime. Discipline isn't about being perfect. It's about being consistent. It's about setting standards that don't move even when life does. It's the voice in your head that says, I don't feel like it, but I'm doing it anyway. It's what separates the dreamers from the doers, the talkers from the achievers. Discipline doesn't care if you're tired. It doesn't care if it's raining. It doesn't care if no one is watching. It only cares that you show up. You must stop negotiating with your feelings. They are not facts. Just because something feels hard doesn't mean it's wrong. Just because you're afraid doesn't mean you shouldn't move. The greatest version of you is buried beneath layers of resistance and excuses. Discipline is the tool that digs through it all, and the more you use it, the sharper it gets. One day, you'll wake up and realize that the hard things you once hated have become habits. The workouts, the studying, the early mornings, the self-control. They'll no longer be battles. They'll be part of who you are. That's when discipline becomes freedom. When your body obeys your mind. When your actions align with your purpose. When your will outweighs your weakness. You've stepped into a new level, so choose discipline. Not just when it's easy, but especially when it's hard. Feelings are temporary. Mastery is eternal. The life you want isn't built on convenience. It's built on consistency. Every time you act with discipline, you cast a vote for the future. You declare that your vision matters more than your mood. Discipline is the difference between a life of regret and a life of results. So do what needs to be done, whether you feel like it or not. That's how winners think. That's how legacies are built. Every true transformation demands a funeral. The version of you that clings to fear, seeks comfort, postpones action, and avoids responsibility cannot walk into the life you were meant to live. That person must be buried, not reformed, buried. Because growth isn't about improvement, It's about reinvention. The old habits, the outdated beliefs, the broken stories you've been telling yourself, they all have to die. That version of you was never built to survive the future you crave. You can't take procrastination into discipline. You can't bring fear into courage. You can't walk into greatness with excuses in your pockets. There must be a shedding, a letting go so complete that you no longer recognize the person you once were. This is the death that leads to life. It's painful. It's uncomfortable. But it's necessary. Because comfort is the coffin of your potential. And fear, it's the hand that closes the lid. You already know the version of you that must go. The one that hits snooze instead of starting the day with purpose. The one that chooses distractions over dreams. The one that waits for permission instead of claiming their power. That version of you is loud, familiar, and seductive. But it's not the real you. It's a mask built from pain, disappointment, and hesitation. If you want transformation, you must tear it off. Piece by piece, moment by moment, decision by decision. The truth is, growth is violent. It tears apart your comfort zones and rips away your safety nets. It forces you to sit in silence and face everything you've avoided. But it's in that fire that the new you is forged. You don't become powerful by wishing. You become powerful by enduring. By making the hard choice again and again. By burning away everything that no longer serves you. Transformation isn't a one-time event. It's a process of death and rebirth that happens daily. Every time you say no to your weakness, a part of the old you dies. Every time you wake up early, keep a promise, or do the thing you fear, a new part of you is born. This is the war between who you are and who you could be. And one of them has to die. You'll know you're changing when you start grieving your old self. When you feel the loss of certain habits, certain people, certain thoughts that used to define you. Let them go. That's the cost of evolution. You cannot cling to the ashes and expect a flame to rise. You can't step into your purpose while dragging the corpse of your past. What you're chasing requires space, energy, focus, and the old you is taking up too much room. This isn't about perfection. It's about direction. Are you moving forward or staying the same? Are you choosing growth or comfort? Are you feeding the old identity or starving it? Every action answers that question. Every thought is either building you or breaking you. You don't get to become powerful without losing the version of you that was weak. It's not optional. It's the path. So today, choose death. Death to the part of you that quits early. Death to the mindset that plays small. Death to the story that says you're not good enough, strong enough, smart enough. Kill the fear, bury the doubt, silence the voice that tells you to settle, and rise. Rise into the version of you that is relentless. The one that doesn't negotiate with excuses. The one that takes action without hesitation. The one that walks with purpose, speaks with truth, and lives with fire. That version of you is waiting, but it won't emerge until you stop holding on to who you used to be. You can't become who you were meant to be and stay who you are. One of them has to die. So choose wisely. Your future is watching, and it's waiting for you to rise. There's a battle taking place inside you every single day. And it's not against the world, not against people, not against circumstances, it's against you. Two versions of yourself are always in conflict. One is your higher self, disciplined, focus-driven, determined to become everything you were born to be. The other is your weaker self, driven by fear, comfort, distraction, and excuses. And make no mistake, only one will survive. You cannot live your life on the fence. There is no middle ground. Every choice you make, every thought you allow, every action you take is feeding one of those versions and starving the other. The version you feed is the one that will dominate your life. Either your higher self rises and leads you toward greatness, or your weaker self keeps you chained to mediocrity. Your higher self wakes up with purpose. It speaks truth to you when you want to lie to yourself. It keeps going when motivation fades. It chooses what's right over what's easy. That self is powerful, but it must be protected, nurtured, and cultivated with discipline, consistency, and intention. It won't just take over by accident. It grows only when you make the tough decisions, the ones that feel uncomfortable, inconvenient, and unfamiliar. On the other side is your weaker self, always whispering seductive lies. You've done enough. You deserve to rest. You can try again tomorrow. It thrives on hesitation, on quitting early, on avoiding the work that truly matters. It convinces you that it's protecting you, but all it's doing is keeping you small. The truth is, the weaker self doesn't want to evolve. It wants to survive, and survival doesn't require growth. It requires comfort, safety, and sameness. This internal war doesn't stop. It doesn't take weekends off. Every single day, you must choose who you are going to be. The moment you stop choosing consciously, your weaker self steps in and takes control. And here's the painful truth. Most people lose this battle not because they're incapable of greatness, but because they've made peace with mediocrity. They let the weaker self become the default, but you're not most people. You wouldn't be reading this if you were. Deep inside you, there's a voice that refuses to settle. That voice belongs to your higher self, screaming to be set free. It's tired of being silenced, tired of being buried under excuses and self-doubt, tired of watching your potential go to waste. But if you want that version of you to lead, you must make sacrifices. You must kill the habits, thoughts, and patterns that keep your weaker self alive. This is a war that demands blood. Your comfort, your laziness, your indecision. Those parts of you must die so the real you can live. Growth isn't soft, it isn't gentle, it's brutal. It tears apart the lies you've told yourself. It breaks the chains of your old identity. It forces you to face everything you've been running from. And on the other side of that pain, power, clarity, strength. But you must be willing to choose, every day, every moment, even when it hurts, especially when it hurts, because in the end, only one will survive. You can't carry both versions of yourself into the future. One is holding you back, the other is trying to set you free. So decide. Decide to starve the weakness. Decide to silence the doubt. Decide to honor the vision, the hunger, the fire inside of you. Because the cost of letting the weaker self win is too high. It's your purpose, your destiny, your legacy. That's what's on the line. Only one version of you will survive, the one that settles, or the one that rises. Choose wisely, and fight like your life depends on it. Because it does. Every single morning you open your eyes, you're given a choice, a fresh start, a blank canvas. But most importantly, a decision that will define the rest of your day. Inside of you, two versions wake up too. One is the version that craves growth. It wants to stretch, to break limits, to become stronger, sharper, better. The other version is the one that wants to stay safe. It wants to repeat yesterday. It wants comfort, not challenge. It wants ease, not excellence. And from the moment your feet hit the floor, these two versions start pulling in opposite directions. The version that wants to grow pushes you to do the hard things. It whispers to you, let's go. It doesn't care how you feel, it cares about who you're becoming. It challenges your laziness, your doubts, your excuses. It doesn't seek permission. It demands progress, but it's quiet. It doesn't scream. It doesn't beg. It waits for your decision. Meanwhile, the version that wants to settle is loud. It tells you to hit snooze, to push your goals until tomorrow, to take the easy way out. It pretends to care about your well-being, but all it really wants is for you to stay the same. Because change is uncomfortable. Growth is painful. And this version doesn't want pain. It wants predictability. It doesn't care about who you could become. It just wants to survive another day without friction. That's the choice you're faced with. And it's not made once in your life. It's made every day, in the small things. Do you get up or sleep in? Do you show up or make excuses? Do you eat clean or grab whatever's convenient? Do you stay consistent or break your word to yourself? Every decision is a vote for one version of you or the other. And over time, those votes compound, they shape your identity, they build your life. The truth is, greatness isn't built in a single moment. It's built in thousands of moments when nobody's watching. It's built in your private discipline, your daily choices, your refusal to settle. The ones who rise above aren't more talented. They're more intentional. They make the hard choice even when it hurts. They sacrifice temporary comfort for long-term growth. But don't think this decision gets easier. Growth doesn't become painless. Discipline doesn't become natural. What changes is you. You get stronger, more resilient, more aligned with your purpose. You start to recognize the cost of settling. You begin to hate the feeling of wasted potential. And that hatred becomes fuel. So stop waiting for motivation. Motivation is fleeting. It shows up when things are easy. What you need is conviction, a deep, unshakable belief in who you're becoming. And that belief is built by choosing the stronger version of yourself again and again. Even when you're tired, even when you're scared, even when nobody's clapping. Every day is a chance to choose, to rise or retreat, to evolve or repeat, to take control or be controlled. And the truth is, one version of you will die a little bit every time the other one wins. If you keep choosing comfort, your dreams will fade. Your potential will wither. But if you keep choosing growth, that weaker version of you, the one filled with doubt, fear, and procrastination, will start to lose power. This is your life. This is your shot. There's no reset button. No magic moment in the future when it suddenly becomes easy. It starts now, with the next choice you make. You're not just deciding what to do. You're deciding who you are and who you're becoming. So ask yourself every single morning, which version of me will win today? And then make the choice. Not once, but over and over again, until that stronger version becomes your new identity. Every day is a choice. Make it count. This battle is not about anyone else. It's not about proving them wrong. It's not about the critics, the doubters, or the ones who left. It's about proving something to yourself. That you're no longer available for the excuses, the comfort, the weakness that used to define you. You've seen both versions of yourself, and only one deserves to survive. The truth is simple. You can't take the easy version of you into the future you dream of. One of you has to die. Either the old you filled with fear, procrastination, and hesitation, or the new you, driven by purpose, clarity, and discipline. Every decision you make is a step toward one and away from the other. You don't need more time. You need more truth. You don't need more motivation. You need more choices. Choose the version of you that refuses to quit. Let the weaker one fade, and become everything you were born to be. Because in this war within, only one will survive. Make sure it's the one you'll be proud of.